Are you worried for Liverpool?
A little bit. The inconsistency, the change of the fullback situations of not quite Trent going. Bradley's a really good player, but I think they miss his expansion of his passing ability. And obviously, Kirkes on the other side still settling in.
Yeah.
So Robinson's coming in, and probably in a game like this, if Kirkes would have been in and playing well, he'd have probably started.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different and difficult for Liverpool at the moment. And I think that midfield three is a really good midfield, but it's played every game, and I think they've got to have a look at that and strengthen that area.
Well, if we have got the teams that the two managers selected, and you mentioned how they perhaps play every game and they're a bit tired, this was exactly the same side that Arne Slot picked for the game against Real Madrid in midweek in the Champions League. They won that game, but didn't freshen it up. He went with exactly the same team, and maybe that showed.
Hence, that's why it showed. I think all of them looked a little bit off it, particularly in that second half. Okay, you're going at half time, they'd have had a little bit of a rollicking from the manager. Not too much, because he knew that the fatigue levels would have been there, but they upped it second half. But first half, you couldn't recognise Liverpool.
No.
They looked scared of receiving the ball. They actually didn't have a plan as such. Individuals weren't really dominating the game, and to be honest, Man City took the ball away from them.
This is Liverpool's possession lost against Man City. Mo Salah had 49 touches, he lost it 15 times, which was 30% of the time, so he had a difficult day. Ekitike only 11 touches as well.
That first half, they totally smothered them.
Yeah.
They had the ball, possession, so if you haven't got the ball, you're not in the game, but they smothered them. As soon as there was a red shirt on the ball, bang, he was under pressure. Whether it was a young kid at left back or in midfield, wherever it was, they were terrific.
If we're going the opposite side, Mo Salah then up against Nico O'Reilly. If you're going to say to Mo Salah, you don't have to do too much work defensively, you want a return the other way. We saw it last season, he was outstanding last season. He's struggling a little bit this year, isn't he? Both ways. And Nico O'Reilly, I thought, was outstanding.
He was outstanding
against him this week. But this was different in the fact that they were happy to leave him 1v1. If we saw Gravenberch doubling up, didn't we, with Doku all the time, but 1v1, tight to Salah so often.
Yeah. And that's the key. I think they worked on that. They said, look, you just worry about him. You get tight. It's a one-on-one game for you.
Yeah, I'm going to
make sure you get tight and that he doesn't really get a really fantastic run at you. And
I'm going to play this one slowly because this is the one time where he could be done here. So if you just stop it there, now all of a sudden, his eye line is this way. He can't see Mo Salah.
He's turned his back, hasn't he? Yeah.
If he little chop this way, I think he did this, didn't he, Mo Salah, previously against Man City, where he chopped and ended up scoring, didn't he? He bent it into the corner. I think it might have been at Anfield, actually. But turning your back like that is something you shouldn't do as a fullback. And
also, you're correct. He shouldn't be turning his back, and he'll learn from that. That's the sort of thing. But when you're playing against Salah, that's going to happen a few times.
Yeah.
He's going to come into. But where's the fullback? Where's the fullback making? Look at the space for an overlap there, and they're disengaged. That was Liverpool. They weren't as a unit.
Yeah.
They weren't playing within like 15 yards of each other. Probably because Doku had done something there that Bradley had to be sitting.
He can't get himself up.
Yeah, where Trent used to perhaps not be as good at that, but he'd engage himself higher up the pitch when the ball was on the opposite side of the pitch, so he was closer to Salah.
Interesting, yes. I mean, Salah of old, you'd expect him to sort of maybe chop that, go down the outside, poor pass in the end.
This is good defending. He gets tight, gets low. He's a tall lad, but look how low he's getting.
Yeah.
He gets down. He's really enjoying he's enjoying the challenge of defending. He's good on the ball. He's got a lovely left peg, but look, he's so patient in his defending there, Matt. Brilliant.
No, he's excellent.
But he is a tall lad, but look again, he's
quick.
Quick. He's got quick feet as well.
Yeah.
He moves his feet quickly. Sometimes you can be quick.
He's an attacking midfielder, I think, in the academy. So
yeah. No, and this is a world-class player he's playing against. What is he, 19 years of age? Took a bit of a risk there for me.
Sticking a leg
if
out.
He goes over there. But he got away with it. But
this one for me as well. This Mo Salah, I think, is best. He's running in behind. So often we've seen this where he flicks it into the midfield player and then bang, he goes. It's an in and out.
Yeah.
I'll play that slowly. He has a touch. Instead of now going into his midfield and spinning, he goes back and play it on. Play develops. And he's still here in this position, and the ball gets recycled this way. If I stop it here now, how often have we seen this where Trent Alexander-Arnold, say it's Trent Alexander-Arnold on the ball,
he'd have been fading that.
I'm saying that
ping,
is going in that position. Mo Salah would come short and to go bang into that space, and he would make that run in behind so often. I mean, it might be that Nico O'Reilly is so quick, he's thinking, I'm not going to beat him for pace. But at the same time, it might be that Conor Bradley hasn't necessarily got that ball.
Quite got that. He's a good player.
I'm saying he's a terrific player, but he hasn't got the range of passing, has he?
That's an exceptional pass.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's an unusual pass. He'd have fizzed that with the outside of his foot, but look, he's not even
ends in the
for
feet
it.
and gives it away.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Salah. I think if you even the greatest players, and he's done. His opposite movement there was poor. He's not quite thinking of. Last time it may have been Trent would put it on his toe for him. Well, now perhaps he's got to start making some opposite movement to then go. And if it doesn't come then you've got a problem. But maybe he's got to tinker his game a little bit.
Yeah.
But what
they both needed a win, didn't they?
They both needed a win. And for me, I just felt that City were a lot more aggressive, more in tune into the game, winning the first and second balls, and a lot more direct in their play and clinical. And again, Doku was the star man. Brella makes a great point. What they know is they're coming up against a Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz right now has been struggling at the moment in Liverpool, more so in the Premier League than playing in Champions League football. They were compact. You talk about being organised. Being organised means your back line is close and in line with your midfield, that there's no space or no pockets of space for the likes of Florian Wirtz, Szoboszlai to get involved and affect the game. And that is what they did so well. They stayed compact throughout the lines where it was very difficult for Liverpool to get any kind of play. So even into the second half that they had to change, where Konaté went out to the left a bit and they had to try and push Szoboszlai down the middle along Florian Wirtz. You don't want Florian Wirtz to be getting the ball in that middle of that pitch there in open space and time, because he will hurt you. And again, it just goes to the lack of flow and connection in that Liverpool performance today from the whole final third and the front three.
Greta, from Arne Slot's perspective on the touchline with the team that he picked today, where were the mistakes made tactically? What did he get wrong?
I just think there was not too many mistakes that he made tactically to start the football match. Once Haaland gets the first goal, then they come out of their shape a little bit more and get a little bit unorganized. They also have to shift, like we said earlier, they have to shift more to Doku, because Doku was torching Bradley. Bradley, who had a fantastic game, by the way, against Mbappe, against Vinny Jr., against Real Madrid. Couldn't handle Doku today. That's how good Doku was today. It was an all-time performance from him. But I thought what was interesting in the second half when Arne Slot was forced to say, hey, we need to make a change. We need to come back into this game because we need to get these 3 points and we need a better performance. He took Iketika here and he moved him out here. And then he asked Szoboszlai to play as the number 9 up here. And then Wirtz also came inside in here. So we obviously we can't move these as magnets at the moment. But if you could kind of see what happened was these two guys right here and were asked to play as center forwards, and then Iketika was taken out of what I think is his best position in the center forward position, and it actually made things easier for Man City. Now, there was one point in the game there, the early second half stages, I thought, okay, this could get a little bit out of hand, because Man City, for me, had the best balance of, hey, no problem. You guys want to have the football? We'll sit in. And like Nigel said, the lines were tight. They were organized. They made great recovery runs. And then they hit back on the counter with some, obviously, the talent that they have in the team with Foden, with Doku, with Haaland is always a threat. They had the balance of this game really right. And at the highest level, when these two teams are playing, if you score first and you have balance like Man City did today, they looked scary. Now, 4 points behind Arsenal. It's going to be a race to the finish, for sure.
I would also say, when you look back at the game again, we always talk as players about mentality, going through the games and certain incidents that may occur. Konaté made a mistake for me, which led up to the penalty that Manchester City got early in the game there, where Doku beat Bradley. Konaté comes in and tries to be too cute to play a reverse ball, goes back to Doku, incident happened, they get a penalty. From then you could always see already in Konaté's mindset that he just didn't feel comfortable. And it's not just a single player's out, but he just seemed to me never to recover from that. And then Haaland's goal comes from Konaté marking Haaland. Haaland's already a beast of a man, as we know. Don't know if Konaté mistimed his jump or wasn't kind of fully aware Haaland is. He kind of flicks it onto Erling Haaland, goes into the goal. And in the midfield too, for me, McAllister and Gravenberch never really had any control today. We never saw them at the quality that they normally do for Liverpool. And there's times where we can nitpick at them, but when you watch the game and you know, there's times of frustration when Konaté had the ball, he turns and goes back. And you could see McAllister's getting frustrated, say, come forward, come forward. And I think that negative spiral kind of creeped in a bit in Liverpool's performance.
And I think it's interesting, isn't it, the impact that they had? And you mentioned that against Real Madrid, and it just didn't work against Manchester City today. Greta, we've got to talk about Mo Salah once again.